All right. What is going on, guys? So I'm here back testing. I'm like, you know what? Let me do a live back testing session. Um, Pretty much gonna be just testing my strategy out, and well, at least one of my strategies. And I'm actually doing it on the gold futures market. So for those of you that don't know, I have transitioned over to futures from forex. I still might trade like gold on a forex broker or NAS, but I'm generally going to be trading on futures. So right now I'm using the TradeZilla replay tool for back testing. I don't know why this says. Well, I was just going to talk good about it and it's messing up. All right, let's go back. All right, so we're going to be on the 15 minute and let's begin. So as you can see, we already caught some trades in this back testing session. Caught that beautiful sell entry up here, all the way down there. Just held. Just kept trailing my stop loss, which is really good behavior. You can see that I entered a little quick sell here. Oops. Right. Entered a little sell here to this little support point. Quick little base hit. Alright, and we also got a sell right there at this high, at this rejection there. So from what I see right now, it looks like gold is definitely in a bearish condition. Seems like we were very bullish before. Actually, hold on. Let me go to the 4 hour. Yeah, we've been overall in a bullish condition, but ever since this high, price has been a little, both sided, where we're still trading up, or we're still trading down. Immediately, though, when I look at this 1 hour time frame, I do see sellers in control here. I'll just extend this all the way left, and I'll do the same thing here as well. And the reason that doing this is important is because it's going to help me look at the same price reactions in the level that I'm looking at right now. And you can see that I just marked up my last level, which is the wick low that price rejected and reversed from. So since my bias is right now that we're in a bearish condition, especially from up here, and this behavior pretty much is what set it off for me. Okay. And then now we see what's going on here. So now this looks a little bit more clear to me. On the 1 hour, it looks like we're having a reversal. It seems like price is in a bearish condition. It seems like we're going to need to make another lower high somewhere. So being that this right now is 8 a.m., assuming that I'm trading this session, I'm going to be in the lower time frame since I trade New York session. And I'm going to be looking to validate that bearish bias, but also be as fluid as possible. So like if for whatever reason that bearish bias is wrong at that time, we have to make a case for it. And as long as we make a case, we're willing to listen. So we see a bit of a bearish trend channel taking place here. Remember, we're overall in a bearish condition. We identified that from the 1 hour price action in this back testing session. So now we're just trading the session of the New York. And on the 30-minute, we're at a low. We're kind of pulling back. So I'm going to do a couple different things here. I'm going to go on the 1 hour and simply put, I'm going to take my Fibonacci and I'm going to draw it from previous swing high to, from previous swing low to previous swing high. Yeah. So from this wick up until, and then for some reason, I don't know why my 0 is not showing, but let's just choose that wick. All right. Now, when I go ahead and make this a line, this might look a little clearer. Price kind of already did pull back, which is the 618. So that's important to know. And then now we're kind of like in this in-between spot. So in this moment in time, I wouldn't really want to sell unless I'm getting an entry up here. I think this makes all the difference. So now I'm going to go back to candles. I'm going to go back to the low time frame, and I'm going to wait and see if I can find a better entry closer to this area of interest up here. Something up here. And the stop loss would be no more than like 40, 50 points. And I'd be looking for a sell, at least back down to the previous low. So now I have the 15-minute playing. I am in my session. I'm going to do double speed. And let's see if we get a retracement. Oh, there we go. Boom. Poof. By the way, I didn't like load this up beforehand and see what price is going to do. This is literally a live testing session, back testing session. So here I'm going to go down into the lower time frame, and I want to pretty much move around the different ones. Now this is at 9 a.m. before opening bell. So since I have double speed, let me actually go slower, and let's just go one candle at a time. Perfect. So this initial entry off of the rejection at my zone, which is literally what I just said 2 seconds ago, that's what I wanted. The retracement back down to this area of interest. And in doing that, what we create is a very, very strong anchor point for a lower high. The reason that this is good to know is because when we look at this big institutional wick behavior to the left, I will drag that same price action over to the right, and we see that this is the same area. So there's some confluence in this area, and that's why we like sells from that area. So now we go back down into the 15-minute, and simply I would be looking at the 5-minute just to see the immediate price reaction. I'm assuming that from this liquidity sweep, we would see a big short down. Oh, wow. So look, this trade would have actually lost. Or at least it would have been a break even. Hold on. So let's bring it back. Let's say that we entered here. Right there. Let's say I enter right here on, let's go down to the 2-minute. Okay, I don't see a candle pattern there. But I see this liquidity point, which is pretty much this wick right there. So let's say I want to be as precise as possible when I'm trading liquidity. I want to see price in this range of 33.20. That's what I'm going to be looking for in this moment in time. I want to see price come right here. So simply put, I want my entry to be as close to that line as possible. That's the point that I'm interested in. For whatever reason, if I miss my entry, I can simply enter a little bit lower with my stop loss above that wick. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to go in on 1 mini on a sell. And we're going to pause for a second. And I'm going to take my stop loss. And I'm going to put my stop loss right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my take profit. And I'm going to put... This is about a 1 to 2 risk to reward to start. So just so you guys know, when I do go in profit, I do have a break-even system, and that's a kind of a bit of what we're back testing right now, what would work and what wouldn't. So another thing is, let me go ahead and take these zones, and let's identify support and resistance. Support, 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 resistance, resistance. This would be the first target. Ideally, we want price to come all the way down here, but this would be a realistic target. Okay. Now, once again, once price goes in profit, we're going to be looking to go break even. So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be taking stop loss. And after that break and retest, we're definitely break even. So we pretty much almost hit the point. So this trade was right. I mean, look, this was a sell. Now, initially, from a high time frame glance, we're looking for a big sell. But with this method, since we're entering on the low time frame, I'm looking for scalp rejections with impulse reactivity. And I've noticed that you might have best success just closing off of initial impulses and securing profit. So yeah, you see this trade went back to break even, and then it came back down and retested. Maybe this wasn't the best setup for what we were looking for there, and that's okay. I still like the sell bias. We were just a little early initially, and the time frame was just before opening bell. So now, from a different perspective, opening bell just happened, and then we had this strong body push, and now we're seeing a rejection. This can also be grounds that this is possibly the entry point that I was looking for earlier. Okay. And then here, let's make this a little bit more blue. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This could have been that entry point that I was looking for. So just so we don't get caught in the habit of re-entering and entering, let's go back and let's see where we're at. We're at 950. The hour is rejecting. Oh, that does look pretty good for a sell. Okay. Oh, but shit. Look at that. That looked good for a sell underneath this bias. But the market just completely shot up. And remember, another thing that I mentioned to you guys is that what retracement are we going to do to create the next pullback into being a lower high? So yeah, the selling bias did make sense here, but that's, wow, like, that's actually really great data to have, because yeah, you close out right there, whatever, break even, but we actually dodged a bullet by going break even here, because in this case, I mean, yeah, sure, there's been a lot of activity, so the probability goes lower and lower each time, but this is actually a bias flip, where initially we were looking for sells below this area, but remember, it's only below that area. Now once price shifts, we may want to look for something different. Okay. So yeah, usually I like to find my entries. It seems like I'm having good success on the 1 minute. Okay, we'll use like a 20 pip stop loss. Yeah, you know, a nice little 1 to 2. Nothing too bad. And this came out to being a break even, but that's okay. All right, that's a good trade here. This sell bias still makes sense. But I actually did neglect a bit on the 1 minute because I was just looking at it quickly. That we definitely do have some bullish liquidity, and we do see higher highs and higher lows being formed, which definitely makes sense why we saw this breakout. Like, it definitely didn't just happen for no reason. Price broke and cleared a previous area of interest. And once I would say price even retested this area right here, that was a pretty clear as day for me, at least, and how I look at the market. Moment to look at price and be like, okay, maybe I should be looking for longs instead of shorts. Maybe this short bias doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe I need to react and adapt. So here, what we actually see is that we do see multiple buy opportunity. I kind of messed up because when I was back testing, I was in the 1 hour like this, and then it just popped out when I pressed play, which I probably should have stayed in the low time frame so we could trade this. So let's assume that we would trade this now, because this is totally what I would do. Whenever I see that, let's say like my idea was right in the moment, or maybe it was wrong or whatever, but the zone, we see a bias flip, like, you guys need to get good at being able to identify bias flips. And once price cleared this imbalance and we broke above, any retest would be good. This retest makes total sense. Now in this case, you're going to have to flip your bias and now use your Fibonacci. So I would use my Fibonacci like this. Previous swing low. I'd enter like this. Let's say something like that. With, let's say, my stop loss below this level. Well, let's go down to the 2 minutes so we can actually find our entry though. Okay, so there's actually a candle pattern right there instead. So we would variate, 30-point stop, take profit, extended, initial take profit will be there. We'll enter in our buy position here. Yeah, that's a huge target. Even this, it makes perfect sense right here. This is about a 1 to 4. And since we kind of cheated a little bit, we know it's going to play out. There we go. Bam. So just like that, we're out of that trade. We definitely could have let this trade run. As you can see, this seeped into the second half of the PM session. And there was actually opportunity for more profit had we let it run another 50 pips. So that's something to consider. We skimped out 50 points in profit there. And we'd be done with the session, and that would be the buy. We'd have this initial sell. Then we'd have this buy after the break and retest. Those are two pretty good trades. So yeah, pretty much using this method, by the way, we were doing this. So we were trading the 382 or the 618 each retracement. This is a 382 rejection in this general zone. See? It's interesting. Anyways, that's it. Peace.